Just start. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. We typically cannot start the meeting until we have quorum. I'd like to welcome you to our March meeting. Let me just pull up real quick. I don't know about it, the rest of y'all, but I am actually suffering from allergies already. So if I sound a little hoarse, I apologize. Welcome to our March 21st full board meeting of Manhattan Community Board 11. My name is Xavier Santiago, and I am the chair of CB11. This meeting is officially called to order at 6:38 p.m. Tonight, we are joined by District Manager Angel Muscane, Assistant District Manager Khalid Nixon, and Community Liaison Marlene Pierre. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, CB11 members, if you have questions about board business or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. If you click the participants icon, the participants panel should appear and you should find the raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulty, you may click the chat icon and relay your difficulty to the staff. Members should not engage in a back and forth discussion. The chair will recognize the next person to speak. 3, the chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address or telephone number that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. 4, when a member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you and you may unmute yourself so that you may speak. 5, please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. 6, members of the public can register to speak in the public session by completing the pre-registration form and providing their name, affiliation, and what topic they wish to speak about. A link to the registration has been shared in the chat. Registration for the public session needs to be completed by 7:15 p.m. And now we will take attendance by roll call. Board members, you may unmute yourselves and answer present when your name is called. Also, please turn on your camera for the record.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if I'm still on camera. I'm going to take it off so that I can call the roll and have my phone down at the same time. Jose Altamirano.
Present.
Leroy Edino. Stephanie Arroyo. Stephanie Arroyo. April Autry.
Present.
Adam Riha. Jahai Chaudhry. Diane Collier says it will be coming a little bit later.
Yeah, she'll arrive at 8 p.m.
Devon Cronchow.
Present.
Hi, Devon. Kenneth Crouch.
Kenneth
Carlos
Crouch,
Diaz.
arriving late.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Kenneth Crouch will be joining late. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Carlos Diaz. Carlos. Okay. Rosa Diaz. Angela Donadell.
Present.
Jessica Elliott.
Present.
Judith Sabero.
Here.
Raja Flores. Osendi Garcia. Brandon Gillespie. David Giordano.
Present.
John Green.
Here.
Wanda Hopkins.
Present.
Alonzo Johnson. Jewel Jones.
Present.
Marissa Mack. Giselle Malave.
Present.
Malik McCullough.
Present.
Jennifer Mayer.
Present.
Jessica Morris. Nilsa Orama,
Present.
Beverly Pabon,
Shalom and present.
Arturo Perez,
Present.
Claudia Perez, Roberto Perez, Shavassia Robinson Tang, Asha Rodriguez,
Present.
Eugene Rodriguez,
Present.
Don Sanders, Xavier Santiago,
Present.
Isaac Scott will be arriving late, you already said. Russell Schuler,
Present.
Vincent Torres, Anne-Marie Vasquez,
Present.
Jason Villanueva,
Present.
Candy Viva Vasquez, Michelle Wilshire Clement, I am present. Jordan Wright
Present.
and Jason Wu. That is complete.
Yes, it appears we have quorum. Thank you very much, Michelle. The agenda for tonight's meeting was distributed ahead of time by the board office and was posted online. If there are no objections, we will adopt the agenda as stated. Board members, if you object to adopting the agenda, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Seeing no objections, the agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. Pre-registered speakers. A few ground rules for those wishing to speak. One, you must sign up to give testimony, providing your name and affiliation. The staff has already put a link in the chat. Two, you will be allowed 3 minutes to speak. Please state your phone and email up front. You'll be afforded 2 minutes to speak, and we will reserve a minute for questions. A timer will be up as an aid so you can track your time. Three, you should address your testimony to the board, not the public. Four, you should speak clearly and into the microphone. Five, you should be prepared to respond to board members who may ask questions in order to clarify facts and or opinions presented in your comments. Six, if required, the chair will remind you of the time or concluding the remarks. Board members should only ask clarifying questions. Commentary will not be entertained. If needed, a reminder will be prompted to board members to posit the question. Has anyone signed up to speak in the public session?
Yes, we have several folks. We did have a comment in the chat about the link not working. We just tested it and the link is working. So we encourage you to try again. I'll give you the first few names in a second. Xavier, let me click over.
Yep.
The first person registered is Valerie Ponte.
Okay, wonderful, Valerie. You have your total of 3 minutes. Thank you. Please unmute yourself. I'm looking here to see if Valerie, I do not see Valerie here in the participants. We will come back to Valerie. Please mute yourself, Jason. Thank you. Okay, the next, who's next? Is that Oressa L. Napper Williams?
Yes, yes.
Oressa, are you on? I do not see her. We will circle back. Who is next? Is it Jasmine Lawrence?
Yes.
Hi there, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi,
You have your 3 minutes.
got it. Good evening, CB11. My name is Jasmine Lawrence. I'm the Media and Community Specialist for Cayuga Centers. We're a family services agency on 1916 Park Avenue, so that's 131 in Park. I just wanted to share that for the month of March, which is National Reading Month, we've been engaging with the community and different partners, asking them why they love to read. So if you'd like to share that, we've been posting different stories on our social media, but additionally, we've been hosting a book drive to benefit our foster youth. So I'd like to drop that link in the chat in case anyone in the community wants to contribute, specifically looking for books for all ages, but what would be helpful is if we had some books submitted, bilingual books and books that are in Spanish, Creole, Haitian Creole, and French. Also wanted to put it out there that May is National Foster Care Month as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we're looking to develop some programming around that and reach out to community partners. So if you're a local business owner or have any ideas, I'll include my email in the chat, but my email is Jasmine, JASMINE, .Lawrence, LEWRENCE at Cayuga Centers, CAYUGACENTERS.org. And I'll include my phone number as well, 646-740-1899. That's all I have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Are there any questions from our board members? Not seeing any hands raised. Thank you very much for being with us. Glad to have you back.
I do have a question. I
Oh.
can't find my hand.
All right,
I'm
Beverly,
sorry.
your question?
I can't find my
Okay, your question?
Okay, my question was, you said this was national, oh yes. My question is, thank you, Jessica, for your, Jasmine, for your presentation. That this is National Foster Care and Mental Health Month?
So March is National Reading Month, so we're hosting the book drive, but in May is National Foster Care Month as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. So that's why nothing's planned yet, but thinking about what that could be. It's my job to do so, but I figured while we're here, I would let you guys know that that's coming up, and looking forward to hearing to anybody interested.
No, thank you, Jasmine. I'll put my email in the chat and maybe we can have you come present to one of our committees. I think that'd be great.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
my last question is, where do we donate books at?
Got it. So we have a landing page. It's cayugacenters.org/book drive. And on that site, we're a national agency, but we have a number of offices in Harlem as well as the Bronx. So if you go on the landing page, there's places, we have an Amazon wish list and also a list of where you can drop off books locally.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, the question, Beth. Okay, thank you, Jasmine. Moving on, we have our next speaker, Angel, is it Norma Martinez?
Yes.
Okay, let me check. Norma, are you here? I see her. If you would unmute yourself and then we can start your 3 minutes, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm here.
Hi, you have 3 minutes. So
Yeah. Hi, I'm a business owner over here in 116th Street. We really didn't know how to be part of this meeting. This is our first time doing it, but we're trying to, we are a group of business owners, small business owners over here in 116th Street. We're trying to get together and create, we have our organization, it's La Villa. So we're trying to get our voices here by the community board about some events that is coming up on May 5th. That's all. We're gonna be part of it.
okay, thank you very much for Cinco de Mayo fiesta, right?
Yes, that's correct. But
Okay.
I'm sorry, we didn't know that we had to be separate on this speaker. It wasn't something else.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Jose, you had your hand raised?
Question, is this an association on 116?
It's an organization that we've been, it's La Villa Merchants Association.
Oh, I didn't.
We start working together. We are about 12 of small business owners over here between 3rd Avenue and 2nd Avenue over 116. We start working together with
I'm on 116 second and third. I own El Barrio Call Service.
Oh, perfect. So we start working together, and obviously one of my coordinators, she's gonna speak later, Diana. So, but basically we are here to talk. Yeah, work together and speak about Cinco de Mayo Fiesta.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other questions from board members? Seeing that I don't have any more hands. Angela Donadell, your question?
Good evening. My question is, you said that they're having, the event has already been scheduled. Is it going to be a street fair, or y'all doing something privately? I just at the moment do not remember this coming to licenses and permits.
Yeah, it's going on May 7th, which we are not agree about, this event is happening. So that's why I'm apologize, because we don't know how to subscribe to speak about it. And obviously I choose to speak in public, but basically it's about this event that's going to happen on the May 7th, which is a private person who's organizing that is not from the barrio.
Okay, so thank you for the question, Angela. And just to clarify, you are against it, not for it, correct? That's what you were speaking to?
Yes, correct. Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next will be, I appreciate you being here in this space. We have our licenses and permits committee meeting, which typically meets the first Wednesday of the month. And that's typically when people will tend to engage more with the licenses that are requested, but we appreciate you being here, just so you know how our process is. So thank you. And the Taisha Smalls from WEACT.
Hello, everybody. My name is Taisha Smalls. I am the community organizer at WEACT for Environmental Justice. My email is Taisha, TYISHA, at WEACT, WEACT.org. I just want to come here to a couple updates. WEACT is having our second annual Earth Day 5K race happening on April 15th at 9 a.m. at Randall's Island. This is a great event for workplaces to sign up and fundraise as a team. We do have prizes for most for the people who fundraise the most, for teams, individuals, and who comes in first place. If you're interested in signing up, you can contact Gianna Fools. It's GIANNA at WEACT, WEACT.org. You can also go to our website, weact.org/events. And then we also have a candidates forum coming up in May for our city council district, and we're asking Community Board 11 to submit 1 or 2 questions that they want to ask to the candidates, and about like what they want for the city council races. And lastly, we do have a workforce development program. We currently have classes coming up. We have a certification course that's happening April 17th to the 28th, which is a 2-week course. I will say you can also find it on our website. It's weact.org/weact application. And if you want more information about that, you can contact Charles, CHARLES, at weact.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Taisha. It was great to see you and Pam and for the tour of our beloved El Barrio. Angela Donadell, your question, please.
Yes, I just wanted to request that she put the the email addresses into the chat so that we can pick them up.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. All right, great. Wonderful. We're going to move things along. Good to see you. Next, we have Odette Wilkins. Let me double check. Odette Wilkins. You'll have to unmute yourself, Odette.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you. You have your 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Odette Wilkins, and I've presented to the board before. I'm President and General Counsel of Wired Broadband. We are a nonprofit focusing on safe technology for the public. And I'm here specifically to address the Link 5G issue. We are here to help the board with whatever questions the board may have relating to Link 5G. Now, the question that community boards are asking is 5G safe? And OTI's answer is that the antennas and the carriers comply with the FCC emission limits. The problem is that we don't have those reports. We've been asking for those reports, and they are actually a safe harbor for the industry, so that if they meet those limits, they are immunized from any legal liability for people being harmed by it. So it's really more of a safe harbor, not safety for the public. CB8 in Manhattan has already passed a moratorium and a resolution of disapproval, as well as 8 other community boards, and I believe there are a couple more on the way. The city has not been transparent with what it is that they're going to be putting up, what antennas, what is the power strength, what is the reach of these antennas, and they're going to be putting them very close as 10.6 feet to people's windows. And so we want to have answers, but the city has not been giving us answers. And the other thing is that they say that this is going to bridge the digital divide, but according to the U.S. Government Accountability Office, it will likely exacerbate it. And the National Digital Inclusion Alliance testified in Congress saying that it's not going to help the poor because who's going to be able to afford a 5G phone? I'm available to answer any questions.
Great. And I know that we will be taking this up at Public Safety and Transportation next month. Are there any questions from our board members? Okay, Beverly, your question, please.
Yes, am I to understand that you are against the 5-band towers that they are thinking of putting up in the areas?
Yes, we're in opposition because there have been no safety studies done on 5G, and that was established in a congressional testimony by the Senate a few years ago. There's been no testing afterwards, and the couple of case studies that have come down have shown that people have been injured from 5G, and we also have New York City residents who have been injured from 5G.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, and we welcome you to come attend our Public Safety and Transportation Committee meeting. Nelson, I'll give you one more question. Last one for the presenter.
Yes,
Thank
can you just put your email and your contact information and your organization so I can note it?
Yes, absolutely. I'm doing that right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nelson. All right. Next presenter we have, hold on a second. Diana Larrazabal. Let me see if she's here. There she is. You will need to unmute yourself.
Yes, hi. Sorry.
Okay, we can hear you. You
Hello?
have your, yes, Diana, we can hear you. You have your 3 minutes.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. My name is Diana Larrazabal. I'm a member of La Villa Merchants Association, and I'm here today representing small businesses in the area on 116. Just to mention that they're having some issues with the event that's happening on May 7th. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Please start the timer. Go on, Diana.
Yes, so there's a few businesses in the block that are really happy with the event happening here because of the fee they're being charged, even though they're part of the block and they have this business here, their business gets affected with the event. And we would like to get a solution to make it better for everyone, as well for the businesses and also for the people that are hosting the event.
Okay, so you are against the applicant is what you're saying.
Yes.
All right, board members, please raise your hand if you have any questions. Angela?
Thank you for coming. I would like clarity because I believe you said that something about they were charging the business owners in the block a fee. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Why are they charging you a fee?
If we want to bring, like if the business wants to put set up a space and the event, that's when they're charged a fee.
May I ask what that might be? Is it a lot?
To my understanding, is like 500 or over.
Okay. Understood. Understood. Have you spoken to the owners, to the people that are organizing? In as much as you are local businesses and they are utilizing the block where you have your establishment, I understand why they ask people sometimes to pay for tables because I've done that because there's a cost involved. But if you are already businesses in the block and this is going to interrupt your business, the best I would suggest that you ask them to give you a discounted price. Because then they're gonna have more organizations in the street, no matter what.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've got another question from Jose. Jose, your question?
No, that's a very similar comment that I just heard. I think it was covered. I mean, this happens on my block and I typically don't need to put a table, but I know that there's been some issues with other businesses. And I think there definitely something has to be discussed, maybe in committee or with these events, because, you know, we do have people that are renting here are paying a very high rent. They are being disturbed. And on top of that, you can't even participate or sell. There definitely should be either a discounted or waiver. I mean, you can't waive completely because then, I mean, 116 has a lot of businesses. It'll be full with just, but definitely some kind of discounted rate, I think should be.
Thank you.
The thing is that most of the businesses are small business owners. They're mom and pops. It's not like a big corporation business on the block. And
no, I mean, I know I'm on this block. I'm the owner of El Barrio Car Service. So
okay, guys, let's step away from the back and forth. I'm going to keep, I want to get two more questions because I think this is under our business sessions. I get this information, Anne-Marie and then Stephanie, and we're going to move on to the next presenter. Thank you.
Is this the first time this person is hosting this event? Is this a first time event?
no, he has been hosting the event for many years. But the thing is that now after the pandemic, like things have been worse. So that's why a lot of businesses have been concerned.
Okay, thank you. Stephanie, your question.
No, thank you. That was pretty much my question. I just wanted to know if this is the event that happens every year for Cinco de Mayo, which sounds like it is, right?
Yes, it is. And also, to my understanding, the businesses have asked for a discount and they're not willing to get a discount. So that's the situation that brought us to join the meeting today.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep us moving. That is under our business session. So this is food for thought, no pun intended. I will now pull up. We have next is Eva Chan. Eva, please unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. My name is Eva Chan. My email is harlemhousenyc@gmail.com. My cell phone number is 415-215-2035. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the community board. I represented the Harlem East Block Association, the Greater Harlem Coalition, and the Upper Manhattan Asian American Alliance to testify at City Council's Public Safety Committee yesterday. And we just wanted to update the community board and ask for your support to just support what we asked for, basically. These three organizations basically urge the City Council to increase police presence in Harlem, including precinct 25, 23, 28, and PSA 5, and assign more narcotic police to Harlem as the work is increasingly dangerous and complex. We're also urging more funding to build up incarceration alternatives and to adequately pay for the implementation of discovery reform, where our DA has raised this concern many times. Regardless of whether you want to defund the police in general, what we're asking for is the city to shift more resources from lower crime area to higher crime areas. Resources not only restrict to police, but also sanitation, housing, education, and employment. The approach of debating whether to take money from the police and give to another social services may be right elsewhere, but it's not right for Harlem. Our crime rate continues to be high. Any cut of NYPD budget, as far as we can see, will put our lives in danger. Every week, Asian seniors from NYCHA Housing calls me about trespasser taking over the corridors, the elevators, and it is really surprising last month to hear that the mayor has cut budget for PSA 5, which helped to patrol the NYCHA housing area. Neighbors who are living near the new safe consumption site similarly have reported higher crime rate, break-in. So they also need additional support, which they're not getting. As you all know very well, East Harlem is a victim of structural racism. It suffers from systemic underinvestments. It's been used as a containment zone for New York City, putting all sorts of social services in here. So decreasing police funding, without first putting in place necessary infrastructure is putting the cart before the horse and put residents' life in danger. So we're urging the city government to vastly increase maintenance of public housing, funding of education and economic development in Harlem. Stop using Harlem as a containment zone by spreading social services more widely, as excessive density of services draw in drug users and drug dealers. Also close any loopholes resulting from criminal justice reform, fully implement changes driven by discovery law, and build up restorative justice infrastructure. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Eva. I have time for one question or so. You covered a lot in that presentation. So any questions from our board members? Okay, I'm not seeing any. And you are welcome, as are everyone in this meeting, to attend our committee meetings where we cover a lot of this, and we can actually take positions, hear a presentation. So I would recommend you also looking at our calendar, CB11M.org. Thank you, Eva, for being in the space with us. Move us along. We already heard from Odette. Thank you. Cynthia Ramos. Cynthia, are you on with us?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Ramos, Community Ambassador for the East Harlem Community Partnership, ramoscynthiaq@gmail.com. I just wanted to inform and remind everyone for the deadline, April 8th, for the East Harlem Community Partnership Higher Education Grant and our Workforce Initiative Grant up to $1,000 for high school seniors in the East Harlem community, zip codes 10035 and 10029. Also, it's open to all ages, regardless of background and their immigration status. I have the information, so if anybody's interested, feel free to email me, and it's available in Spanish, English, Bengali, Chinese, and Haitian and Creole. And that's it. I just wanted to remind everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Cynthia, for being in the
Thank
space.
you.
Are there any questions from our board members? Beverly, your question, please.
Yes, can you please put your information in the chat, please? Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Bev. Okay, seeing no further hands, we will move on. Sue Peters.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm here to also talk to the community about the jumbo 5G cell towers. And my major point is that people we ourselves have to educate ourselves about this issue because our government at the city level and our government at the federal level are not protecting us. So we have to educate ourselves. And I just want to say a few words about 5G because it's a big hype in the media, going to get all of this data and et cetera, et cetera. But I just want to explain that over just the last decade, it's only then that 5G has begun being rolled out around the world. And there were 4 successive generations before, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. Each successive generation has used higher frequency. That means higher power coming into our bodies as we walk past these devices. It's great to have more data, but it's not great to affect our health. 5G is a major change in this technology with much higher frequencies. I'll give you an example. Okay, the prior generations, you would get up to 300 gigahertz. A gigahertz is a billion hertz, okay? Oh, wait a minute. You would get up to 3 gigahertz, 3 billion. But with 5G, you're getting up to 300 billion frequencies. This is outrageous and the telecoms, the private companies pushing this around the world and building these 5G cell towers in our communities have done no testing, no investigation of the effect of 5G on our bodies. We're going to have mothers and children passing by these 5G cell towers. What effect will that have? Please investigate it yourself. Read. I'll put my contact information in the chat. Please contact me if you want sources to begin reading about this and educating yourself because our governments are not protecting us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Would you please state your email on the record for us?
NYC Hollis, HOLLIS, at USE.STARTMAIL.com.
Great. Wonderful. If you could just put that in the chat, we'd appreciate it.
Yes.
Any questions from our board members? So it is 7:16. I want to keep us on time. Seeing none, we welcome you to come to Public Safety and Transportation Committee in April. Thank you so much for being here, Sue.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Alejo Sanchez. Alejo?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You have 3 minutes.
Yes. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Alejo Sanchez. I'm here on behalf of Taco Mix and Don Alejo Coffee. I'm also a member of La Villa, who represents the merchant business owners on 116th Street. I've lived on this same block for 30 years. I'm 30 years old. Grew up and also went to school, lived there all my life. And I've seen the changes that have happened on this block throughout the years and the events that have been going on with Cinco de Mayo and the Independence Day event as well. And I'm here today because I don't agree with the Cinco de Mayo event, the way it's being handled. My parents have had their business there for 30 years. I just recently opened my own coffee shop on that same block. And I can say for a long time, it has been very difficult to work with the organizers. There was mention of working a discount with them, but I don't think that is even possible because they are not easy people to work with. The staff that managed and organized that event are simply unethical. There's not enough security. There's not enough safety. and the benefits and proceeds of this event go only in their pocket. And nothing comes back to the community. I am strongly requesting that the community board mediate a reasonable and fair agreement between the event organizers and the business owners on 116th Street. We as business owners always deal with the cleaning at the end of this event. The people that need to use the restrooms, we kindly let them use it while losing sales throughout the day. I mean, we literally lose a little bit more than half of our sales. And small businesses run on very thin margins, you know, and I can say because I've seen my parents and I've seen the community, the business owners on that street really work hard for what they have today. And it's not even about putting a stand outside, right? Because even if we try to negotiate with them, they will not succeed to help us, you know? They will, last time we had a conflict where they were removing they were blocking our businesses, our views. They were literally putting stands right in front of our businesses. And we try to reason with them, but they got a little aggressive. I mean, in all honesty, and I come from a humble point, I don't think that there's fairness in there's nothing in for the community in this, right? And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejo. Do we have any questions from our board members? Okay, I don't see any raised hands. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. And we will be handling this matter during, Marissa Mack, Marissa, your question? You're muted.
Yes, no, sorry. I just wanted to know, are we gonna hear about this event this evening? Or,
We are. It is on our,
okay,
on our
okay.
agenda, licenses and permits.
okay, all right, okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Alejo. Appreciate it. All right. I do not see, Angel, are there any more publicly registered speakers? I think we've gotten them all.
That was the last one.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. We will now hear from our local elected officials. If you have not already signed up to speak, we ask that our local elected officials and or their representatives please alert our staff in the chat if they wish to give a report. We ask that any event service literature be sent to our office, then we may post and share it as is appropriate. Please keep your report to 3 minutes and to be mindful not to repeat what others have already mentioned. Again, the same recommendation as our publicly registered speakers, your report for 2 minutes and time and space for questions for 1. If required, the chair will remind you of the time or concluding your remarks. Have any elected officials or their representatives signed up to speak, Angel?
Sophia Sikor from Senator Serrano's office.
Okay, Sophia, you have your 3 minutes. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, give me 1 second. Hey, everyone. Sorry, I'm having a little technical difficulties. Oh, hey, everyone. So we're here from Senator Serrano's office. Hope everyone is having a good Tuesday. Xavier, was actually nice to see you this morning at the roundtable in person for the first time. That was great. We are in the height of budget season right now. The state Senate passed the One House budget resolution last week. The budget resolutions focus on improvements that can be made within the executive budget. It's basically a back and forth with the governor trying to come up with the best budget that they can. And likely these updates, it will change probably within even the next 2 weeks. But Senator Serrano has been advocating against the tuition hikes for SUNY and CUNY, against the MTA fare hikes, and also has been advocating for additional funding for healthcare provider pay and an increase of the minimum wage, so indexing it to inflation. The senator also had an arts rally this morning in Albany. He was joined by art advocates and colleagues from the district to call for an increase in arts funding in the budget. That's very important for our office. And the senator also has recently passed some bills. The first is S253, which will develop criteria and guidelines for state designated arts and cultural districts. S261, which will create a state parks passport program. And just this morning, Bill S724 passed, which will prohibit the lease of state forests, wildlife management areas, and unique areas for the purpose of gas production. Lastly, we're currently accepting nominations for a youth leadership recognition award for the 29th district. I can drop that information in the chat. And as always, please reach out to our office if you need anything at all. I will drop my information in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sophia. It was good to see you as well. Been a minute. Got two questions, Beverly and then Eugene.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Cole, for the presentation. My question is regarding the bill you just mentioned, the S24 that passed. Is it about them not using as much gas, or I know the governor was trying to stop gas stoves from being made. Is that what you're saying that you're passed?
So that bill specifically it's going to say like a gas company they found gas or oil underneath a park that a lot of people use, that they would prohibit them from being able to drill or do any sort of gas production on that land.
Okay, thank you very much, Bev. That's a good question. Eugene.
Thank you, Chairman Santiago. Sophia, how you doing? In today's daily news, there was an article in the paper called New York City's Growth Must Get Creative, which basically was chapter and verse about supporting our idea for creating a theater district in the neighborhood. And I hope the senator got a chance to read it. Over and above that, I am excited that he has passed cultural districts for the state. And I would please like him to come and explain to us what that means and what it could possibly mean for East Harlem.
Yeah, I will definitely pass that along. And I did see that article, and I will definitely talk to the senator about it on your behalf.
Okay, thank you, Eugene. Thank you for your advocacy. Thank you, Sophia. I just seen a little note. I'm just going to go back and afford one publicly registered speaker, the last one, and then carry on with our agenda. But if you could be as brief, I'd appreciate it. Theodora Scarrato, it came in and landed into our population fields online a little late.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My name is Theodora Scarrato. I'm Executive Director of Environmental Health Trust, and good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to share this with you. So our organization is a scientific think tank, and our scientists work both in the United States and around the world on the issue of environmental health, and we are currently focused on wireless from cell towers and 5G. Our scientists are cautioning, as are hundreds of scientists, that when it comes to safety for these 5G poles or short cell towers, that safety is not assured, because there are hundreds of studies, credible studies by experts that the radio frequency radiation from the antennas, despite meeting government limits, is not safe because of all of the studies showing harm, including cancer, DNA damage, genotoxicity, oxidative stress, impacts to brain development, impacts to as well reproduction and fertility in humans. There are studies in animals, and we are very concerned about the towers because they're so close proximity to where people are walking on the street and also people living in their homes. The poles are being called kiosks, which is a great way to sell them, except they really are short cell towers, and they house several levels of wireless transmitting antennas. Now, the Wi-Fi antenna is the only free thing that I'm aware of in addition to services on the kiosk. However, all of the additional levels that have these transmitting antennas are not free. They are commercial cell antennas where companies are making money. We have recently won in a lawsuit regarding the lack of adequate review of this issue of the studies showing damage, especially after long-term exposure. And the federal government was found, the FCC, by the U.S. Court of Appeals, D.C. Circuit, that they arbitrarily and capriciously decided to keep their human exposure limits, which is like about how much you're allowed to absorb into your body, that are set in 1996, that the FCC decided to keep those limits, even though there's all of this science indicating that, and I'm saying we had presented all of this science and the FCC completely ignored it. So they were ordered by the FCC to address those studies that they had ignored, to address issues specifically related to children's vulnerability, because they are more vulnerable to this, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, to address long-term exposure, to address environmental impacts. And I will say that a tower going up, like is going up here, would be illegal, I believe, in many countries like Italy, Switzerland, India, China, Russia, because they have limits that are set 10 to 100 times more restrictive than the United States. Thank you so much. This is a health issue, an environmental issue, and I'll put my information in the chat.
Thank you very much. And I would recommend going to public safety and transportation, where a position will be taken on this next month. I'm going to have to keep the meeting moving along. We do hear everyone's position on this. Thank you very much. It's very important to be heard in that, and the committee discussion will be very robust next month, and you're in good hands there. With that, I need to keep us moving along on schedule. Next, we have Marco Perez. Going back into the elected officials, Marco Perez from the DA's office, DA Bragg. Marco.
Hello, how are you? Thank you, Xavier, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Marco Perez Jr. I'm the East Harlem Community Engagement Coordinator for the Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg Jr. I have two announcements. The Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg Jr. announced the indictment of Johnny Green and Isaiah Spain, a United States Postal Service worker, for operating a scheme to steal checks, including federal stimulus and state tax return checks from the mail. Green and Spain and others would deposit the stolen checks into accomplices' bank accounts and withdraw the funds as quickly as possible to avoid detection of fraud. During the course of their scheme, Green and Spain stole more than $700,000 worth of checks and withdrew over $100,000 in cash. Green and Spain are both charged in New York State Supreme Court with 4 counts of criminal possession of forged instrument in the 2nd degree, 4 counts of criminal possession of stolen property in the 3rd degree, 1 count of conspiracy in the 4th degree. Green is also charged with grand larceny in the 2nd degree, attempted grand larceny in the 3rd degree, 1 additional count of criminal possession of a forged instrument in the 2nd degree, and 1 additional count of criminal possession of stolen property in the 3rd degree. Also, Green is separately charged with a shooting in 2022. Green is charged with 1 count of attempted murder in the 2nd degree, 2 counts of robbery in the 1st degree, 1 count of attempted assault in the 1st degree, 4 counts of criminal possession of a weapon in the 2nd degree, and 1 count of assault in the 2nd degree. Other than that, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has partnered with the Mayor's Office and law enforcement and elected officials to combat the proliferation of illegal and unlicensed cannabis dispensaries across the borough of Manhattan. Manhattan DA's office is partnering with the Mayor's Office in this collaborative law enforcement effort to protect New Yorkers from the fledgling legal cannabis industry, and most importantly, to protect the health and well-being of our young New Yorkers. What the Manhattan DA's office did was mail over 400 letters to known smoke shops in Manhattan, warning them of potential eviction proceedings for unlawful cannabis sales. Specifically, the letter informs commercial entities, specifically their landlords. Basically, our office is prepared to use our civil authority under real property action and proceeding law to require owners and landowners to commence eviction proceedings if they have commercial tenants committing illegal trade or business of cannabis. What we're doing here is using our civil litigation unit to make sure that we are holding these landlords and these tenants of smoke shops accountable for their actions and following the law. I would put my email, my phone number in the chat, and I succeed my time for any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Marco. It was good seeing you at the 25th Precinct Community
sir.
Council meeting. Beverly, your question.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Perez, for the presentation. My question is regarding the smoke shops. Do y'all give any aid to the owners who have to do these eviction proceedings if they have a business that's working unlicensed smoke shops?
I'm sorry, are you asking if we give aid to the tenants? I didn't get that.
No, not to the tenants, to the landlords. If they have to do evictions, is it any help from your office or any office where they can get help to do these evictions?
Yeah, so our office is using our civil litigation unit, in which we're communicating with landlords. And even in some instances, we can act on behalf of a landlord to evict a tenant that's selling illegal cannabis, if that's what you mean by aid.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
thank you.
No problem.
Thank you. All right. Don't see any other hands. We're going to move on to our Maggie McDermott from Deputy Speaker Ayala's office. Maggie, you have your 3 minutes.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much, Xavier. I appreciate you. Thank you. I'm here to debrief on behalf of Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala. I'm going to start with the Committee on Parks and Recreation. 2 of Deputy Speaker Ayala's bills were heard by the Committee on Parks and Recreation and passed by the body last week. The following bills would increase access to New York City recreational facilities and implement new reporting requirements for community gardens. Introduction 0007-2022, a local law to amend the administrative code of the City of New York, is in relation to admission to recreational facilities, which would allow free entrance to community center programs for young people aged up to 24. Now I'm going to move on to the Committee on Finance budget hearing. Budget hearings have officially begun. The Deputy Speaker, alongside the Speaker and Finance Chair, had the opportunity to question multiple city agencies on their budget priorities. The Deputy Speaker is working tirelessly to ensure all our communities are represented equitably in the fiscal year 2024 budget. COVID emergency SNAP benefits sadly have come to an end as of February of this year. With inflation rates steadily escalating, more and more families are food insecure. The Deputy Speaker wrote to Governor Hochul asking for the state to enact a law similar to Governor Murphy's in New Jersey that would increase SNAP benefits for recipients. How many minutes do I have left?
55 seconds.
Okay, I wanted to also briefly mention that we have several clinics, free legal clinics. We have a public assistance or SNAP benefits clinic that is the last Tuesday of the month from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We have a tenants support unit clinic in which the mayor's office comes to our office for non-NYCHA cases. That clinic is the first Thursday of the month from 10:30 to 3:30. And then we have a free NYCHA legal clinic, which takes place the first Tuesday of every month from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. All of these provisions are on site at the Deputy Speaker's office in East Harlem on 116th Street. The address is 105 East 116th Street. That is between Park and Lexington Avenue.
Wonderful, Maggie. Thank you. It's always
Thank
good
you.
to see you. Hope to see you.
Thank
the
you so
20th.
much. You too. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, not seeing any. We'll move along. We have
Thanks, everybody.
Tiffany Brown. Thank you, Maggie. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Tiffany Brown from Mayor's Office Community Affairs Unit. Tiffany?
Hi, good evening. Good evening all. I do have 2 things I would like to report, but please bear with me because I'm driving. The first thing I want to encourage all to do is please have your youth sign up for the SYEP program, which is the summer youth program this summer. This summer we have, hold on, I'm sorry guys, as I'm driving. I just want to let you guys know that summer youth this summer, we're hiring youth ages 16 to 24, 6-week job/internships, in-person, remote, or hybrid, up to 25 hours per week. Youth will be paid $15 an hour, no cost to employer. The deadline for the employers to apply is May 26th. 2023, and the deadline for youth to apply is March 31st. I have sent both of these links to your office, Xavier, but I sent it to Angel. And also, I've also sent the mayor's office of his internship program. The application period for that has started March 1st. And students can explore opportunities to apply. And I also sent that link to your office as well. And
Okay.
that's really all I have to report tonight.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Any questions?
And I also put my information in the chat for anyone who may need to reach out to me.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Again, it was lovely seeing you.
Yes, it was. And we need to talk.
Okay. Well, I'll give you,
Okay.
if we end on time tonight, I will give you a holler.
Oh, okay.
All right. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Moving on, we have Damaris Vasquez from Senator Claire's office.
Hello, could you see me? I don't know if my.
Let's see. You're good.
All right, great. Sorry, don't mind the kids in the background. I'm babysitting as well. My name is Damaris Vasquez. I'm the community liaison to Senator Clear's office. I know that I just want to announce that I'll be covering CB11 again. I know William Allen was taking care of some of those meetings for us. As far as announcements, there are some events that the senator is going to be having. There's also an art exhibition that's happening this weekend. I'll be forwarding that information to CB11, and I'll be putting my information in the chat if anybody is interested in reaching out from CB11. So I just wanted to reintroduce myself and say that I'll be covering these meetings and letting you guys know that I'll be sending more events as they consent. I know we have a series of events happening in May. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. Are there any questions for Damaris? Seeing that there are none, that should conclude our publicly registered speakers. And that will, oh, Candy, your hand up.
Hi, good evening. I just want to know, I know they're doing the budget right now at the state level, but can you give us any information about the housing piece, on the funding level where we're at with that right now? Because we do have a housing crisis going on, and I haven't heard no one as of tonight, and no disrespect to anyone, regarding housing. We having, besides an economic development issue in our community, we having a serious housing crisis, and no one has discussed how those budgets are being allocated towards that, and how we're going to be able to help our people that are here, have been on a wait list, and also other services that may be afforded to them. Thanks. If you don't have anything right now, please just get back to us on that. I'd just like to see that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Candy. So I just want to say I don't have anything on me now. I do have, I believe tomorrow I'll be receiving something from our legislative director with the housing priorities and housing related budget issues that the senator is involved with. I'll be more than happy to, if I'll put my information, you can shoot me a email. I'll be more than happy to share that with you and with the community board, but that'll be tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. It's good to
Sorry
see you.
about the karaoke in the background.
It's all right.
Quite all right. Thank you for being in the space with us. That now concludes our publicly registered speakers and or their representatives. We're going to move on to our borough president's report. Tonight we have with us Porfirio Figueroa, who I just saw earlier today. So, Porfirio, you ready?
Thank you, Chair Santiago. My name is Porfirio Figueroa, and I am the community liaison to the Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine, representing East Harlem and Upper Manhattan. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Our response to our community board applications has been phenomenal. With that in mind, we have decided to extend our deadline. So if you are up for reappointment, if you want to have your voice heard, if you are interested in your neighborhood, or if you want to make a difference in civic government, please apply. You can find that link on our website. And speak of our website, it has a new look. So I urge you all to take a moment to go on it, take a look, see what the Mark Levine, our Manhattan Borough President, is doing in the Borough of Manhattan. And you can find that at www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov. Along with Eric Batra and Sean Abreu, the Manhattan Borough President has introduced the initiative and 5 strategies, to shed the shed. Strategy number 1, providing support for buildings who need help getting the work done. Strategy 2, to reduce delays caused by permits required and disputes with neighboring properties. 3, accountability for failure to expeditiously erect and complete facade work and for not removing sidewalk sheds left over a long period of time. Number 5, to extend local law 11 compliance cycles in certain instances. The recommendation is also to extend LL11 cycles by 2 years for buildings that complete major facade renovations. We do have an event tomorrow, which I would like to announce. We're calling it Women's Her Story Month event. It is in celebration of heroines in the health and wellness industry to celebrate Women's History Month. That'll be tomorrow, March 22nd at 6 p.m. at the Roosevelt House Hunter College, 47-49, 65th Street in New York. And I will put the link if anyone wants to RSVP to the event in the chat. And I will also put my information in the chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Porfirio. Any question? Jessica Morris, your question, please.
Thank you, Xavier. I have 2 questions. Thank you, Porfirio, for the report out. One question is the work being done on Shed the Sheds, is there a page or a resource? Local Law 11 didn't happen too long ago, and it is a safety issue, obviously. There's an aesthetic concern with sheds hanging around, but there's also a sort of a safety concern. So just want to tap into the work that the borough president is galvanizing around that. Is there a place we can do that? And then the second question, and I don't think there's an answer, but I do want to bring it up because as the community board application cycle comes up every year, and we all look and check the list and wonder if we're up for reapplication, the recent arrival of community board term limits is something that we're going to have to start to think about and strategize collectively to make sure that our I've forgotten the word, pardon me, but our knowledge doesn't leave in
Institutional
one.
knowledge, I think, is what you're looking for, Jess.
What is the word?
Institutional knowledge.
Yes, institutional memory. Thank you. Gosh.
Okay, so
thank you, Xavier. Yeah, that we
no
don't lose our
problem.
institutional memory and other memories. Gosh. But Porfirio, is that something that the borough president is going to be in office to have to manage? Will community boards have some tools to support that as it comes up? And when, in fact, does that go into effect? Certainly not now, but perhaps up ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica, always good questions. Thank you for asking. Let me start with the easy one first. In terms of term limits, what I would suggest, and I will also bring this up to our team here, is that obviously should be something that we can discuss in our borough board meetings as we move forward to try to address those issues. As far as institutional knowledge goes, I think that's what committees are for. And as the chair positions for any particular committee are kind of sifted and changed and time goes on, it is the place to learn. So I urge the members to join the committees that they are interested in getting knowledge from. As far as the safety concerns and the sheds, since the initiative was just rolled out, what has been happening is that our community liaisons have been identifying or taking any information that has been forwarded to us on any of those particular locations, and then we discuss it here and have been sifting through that. I will bring up the subject and ask to have that added onto our website as a place to go to be able to say something about that. And if you'll allow me, Xavier, I just want to address what was asked before about the budget priorities. As far as the budget priorities go, almost clear across the board, all 12 community boards had housing as one of their top 3 priorities on their list. And so when the budget priorities were put in, or should I say voted on, that was one of the top 3 things.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Good questions. All right, Beverly, your question real quick, please.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. You mentioned that the deadline has been extended. Can you give us the deadline, please? Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that would be helpful, wouldn't it? It is March the 31st at 5 p.m. sharp. Thank you, Beverly.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bev. Appreciate that. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Porfirio. We'll be in touch soon. Appreciate
Terrific.
us. We're going to move the meeting along now. I appreciate everyone's patience. And we're going to move into our business session. And so the business session, for those that are new to community board, this is where the board members discuss and vote on. It is the committee's recommendations that were issued during the past month. And this is not where the public actually exchanges with back and forth. So just again, we will be going through giving very brief committee reports and action items. The minutes, so the first thing is we adopt our minutes. The minutes from our last full board were distributed to board members ahead of time by the board office. If there are no objections, we will adopt the minutes from that meeting. Board members, if you object to adopting the minutes, you may raise your hand through Zoom. Okay, seeing no hands raised, the minutes from last full board meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on our CB11 website. Next we have is the chair's report. I'll try to be brief, but I do want to say happy spring. We turned over yesterday and I'm already suffering from allergies. At least that's what I'm hoping it is as I open up the meeting. So if I sound a little hoarse, my apologies. We have been busy with budget, council testimony. Everyone's participating. We really appreciate it more. And thank you to the staff for pushing out that information. It's incumbent that you can participate upon all of us to participate from a personal level, but then as a board level, any position we have taken on through our statement of district needs and budget reports or our response to the budget. If you are so inclined as a committee chair, et cetera, vice chair, please reach out to me. You can go. But again, it's about us being engaged, or at least at the bare minimum, listening in. This past month, I attended Carlos, along with Carlos Diaz and Jewel Jones, the NYC Health and Hospitals Legislative Breakfast. That information, because they didn't have enough time to get it onto Human Services, went to our executive committee meeting, and we did vote. It will be an action item tonight's meeting. Trisha Shimamura, Porfirio Figueroa, thank you for coming out and taking a tour of El Barrio. You got to see a boots on the ground reality that we face every day. Very much appreciate you plugging in. Also, very, very fun event. We hosted every month. There typically used to be board chair meetups through Manhattan, all of the community board chairs. We were the first to break the ice, and we hosted one here in East Harlem, and we had 7 out of 12 board chairs attend. So that's a really phenomenal attendance, all things considered. Let's see right here. The rest of the information we have here, I did attend the 25th precinct that was hosted. I hosted Chief Obey and Chief Chell for a community discussion about public safety in our district. I cannot begin to tell you enough about how everyone was leaning in to find a curative pathway with all the issues we're facing. It was really nice. There was a lot of respect in the room and a lot of ideas that were generated. And then finally, this morning, it was good to see Elsie from Deputy Speaker Ayala's office, and Sophia and so many others. Porfirio again, with Representative SBI, it's Second Avenue Subway Roundtable. Please read the report. Biden administration has given us $497 million towards the Second Avenue Subway. A lot of lessons learned. They want to make sure that our community benefits more so this time around, and they realize how much they have to actually participate. And we invited them to come to our Second Avenue Subway Task Force, and I encouraged them to get involved with our subway station stop working groups. So with that, I conclude my report. I'm here if you ever need me, whether it is a board matter or a personal matter or something that comes up. We're all here to be of service in a community-centric way. So thank you very much. Okay, if there are any questions, feel free. If not, I will move us along to our district manager's report. Angel?
Good evening, everyone. Angel Muscane. Just sharing a couple of things. So pointing out to those that didn't get an alert earlier today, Mayor Adams released his most recent emergency executive order, number 363 in this instance, extending the emergency order through for another 30 days through April 20th of this year. And then also, yet another reminder to board members that the borough president's community board application portal is open. And as Porfirio said a couple of moments ago, now the deadline has been extended through the 31st. So those of you that have not applied, that intend to apply, have a little bit more time. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Angel? Seeing that there are none. Jessica Elliott, do you have a vice chair report for this evening?
No, thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Treasurer Jason Villanueva, do you have a report prepared for this evening?
Good evening, Chair. No, there's no report. We are working on the first quarter. We'll be able to present in April. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update. Michelle Wiltshire Clement, do you have a report as secretary?
No, I do not have a report. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. We want to keep moving along. Appreciate your time. We now arrived at our committee reports and resolutions. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe again a few ground rules. 1, no one may speak until granted the floor. 2, board members, if you have a question or wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through Zoom. 3, the chat function should not be used for war business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties or if you're having to state in writing. Was already stated aloud or on the record. When a board member is given the floor to speak, I will identify you. 5, votes will be conducted by roll call. 6, please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. And 7, if required, the chair will remind you to conclude your remarks and or questions. And with that, we will move along to our first report. Second Avenue Subway Task Force. It is predominantly for information purposes only. I do want to say thank you everyone who's participated thus far. Claudia Perez came out and gave us a lot of information of what they experienced toward the end of phase 1 and the damages that occurred to Washington houses. And I think it's very important for us to pay attention as they proceed forward. The rest of it is we will be meeting again with the date to be determined, and that we will start delegating who will be leading the station stop working groups and those participants, whether it's a tenant association president or say union settlement or Uptown Grand Central, so your community-based organization. So we had a very robust discussion on that, and we were going to start out with a smaller group of people for the station stop working groups. The rest of it, again, is information purposes only and can be combined with my chair report. Yes, Jessica Morris.
Thank you, Xavier. I just have a question. I know on the 15th of March, there was a hearing with regard to the eminent domain proceedings necessary for the Second Avenue subway to proceed. I was not able to attend, unfortunately, but I did in the week prior receive a point of inquiry from a property owner who was contacted by MTA with regard to what was going to be, quote, taken for a period of time. And there was some confusion, on the part of the property owner, not really knowing how to read the diagram, because a lot of what the MTA does is underground, but it looked on a map like they were taking the whole front entrance of the building in some sense. So are there supports for various community-based stakeholders with regard to the MTA process? There's clearly a power imbalance in community-based stakeholders of all sorts and an entity like MTA. So maybe there's not an answer to that. And I know there's good faith practice and communication happening at many levels, but it might be something to shore up, and we've not really heard anything about those proceedings with regard to how they relate to the task force, if the task force was involved. So that's my question. Just want to acknowledge that they happened and that there were some questions and there were not necessarily resources to easily field those questions for property owners.
So
Thank
thank you, Jessica. And again, I'm just Joe O'Donnell, who presented. Any property owner who has questions, they are welcome to reach out to him. And part of the purpose, if you've had that and property owner who has presented an issue and they have a question, I implore you to please bring it directly to us on the task force. And then that way we can plug them in and get answers to those questions. So that is my recommendation going forward. They are trying to lean in to all of the property owners and all of the stakeholders. And that was a lot of lessons learned from phase one. So I hope that answers your question. And the next Second Avenue Subway Task Force, we welcome you to come attend, and we'll be virtual, it looks like. So thank you. Stephanie Arroyo, your question?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I sort of understood her question to be, is there anyone outside of the MTA that can, like, I guess, give them any legal responses? That's what I'm understanding.
Okay, all right, thank you. That was not as clear, but we can find out about that and see if there's a resource we can access. So I will say that. And I appreciate you bringing the recommendation. Okay. There are no further questions. That concludes the minutes. The rest of it is information purposes only. Okay. Right now, licenses and permits, Adem Briha, he is feeling unwell, but he's on the line because to make sure we have quorum. I'm going to read in this the items that were voted on at licenses and permits. One was to approve the application of Quesadillas Matty Corp. For a new application of full liquor license number 1346910 for a restaurant located at 2141 Second Avenue in New York, New York, 10029 110th Street. The second was to approve the application of Spaha LLC doing business as Lexington Pizza Parlor to renew wine, beer, and cider license number 1283784 for a restaurant located at 1590 Lexington Avenue, 101st Street. 3, approved the application for Hudson Yards Catering LLC in New York Shakespeare Festival doing business as a public fair to renew a wine, beer, and cider license number 125864/1252865 for a restaurant located at 63 Central Park West in Central Park. 4, to approve the application of Antwerp J LLC doing business as Bar Goyana to renew a full liquor license number 1334217 for a restaurant located at 177 East 100th Street, Lexington Avenue. Number 5, the Cinco de Mayo Fiesta number 690528 Single Block Festival, May 7th, 2023, set up 7 a.m., breakdown 6 p.m. Full street closure. Applicant was Alex Garcia. Sponsor is Mexican Folkloric Dance Society of New York. Number 6 is Remembering Our Loved Ones, number 687555 Block Party, May 20th, 2023, set up at 11 a.m., breakdown at 8 p.m. Location East 132nd Street between 5th Avenue and Madison Avenue. It's a full street closure. Applicant Tanya Sivers, residents of the block, sponsored this application. I believe we have one more. Nope, let's go back. So what we're going to do, I'm going to bundle 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, because it seems like we've heard a lot from the public tonight. And I'd like to hear from some of our board members on this position. So if there are no objections, I'm going and bundling 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, and then we will bring up number 5. Is there a motion to approve the committee's recommendations? Please raise your hand through Zoom. Jessica Elliott.
Motion to approve the committee's recommendations on items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
And second, Michelle Wiltshire Clement. Is that a
Yes,
second?
That is
Okay.
a second.
Please call the roll.
Jose Altamirano,
Yes.
Leroy Andino, Stephanie Arroyo,
Yes.
April Autry,
Yes.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Jahid Chaudhry, Devon Cronshaw,
Yes.
Kenneth Crouch,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz, Rosa Diaz, Angela Donadell.
Yes.
Did Diane Collier come yet? Okay. Not yet.
I don't see her.
Okay, Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Judith Febrero,
Approve.
Raja Flores, Osendi Garcia, Brandon Gillespie,
Yes.
David Giordano,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Wanda Hopkins. Wanda? We'll come back to you.
Yes, I'm here.
Alonzo
I'm here.
And
Yes.
is your vote yes?
Wanda, yes.
Okay, thank you. Alonzo Johnson, Jewel Jones,
Yes.
Marissa Mack,
Yes.
Giselle Malave. Giselle? Come back. Malik McCullough,
Yes.
Jennifer Mayer,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Nilsa Orama,
Yes.
Beverly Pabon,
Yes.
Arturo Perez,
Yes.
Claudia Perez, Roberta Perez, Shavassia Robinson Tegg, Asha Rodriguez,
Yes.
Eugene Rodriguez,
Yes.
Don Sanders, Xavier Santiago,
Yes.
Isaac Scott, are you here?
Yes.
Okay. Russell Schuler,
Yes.
Vincent Torres, Anne-Marie Vasquez, Anne-Marie, Jason Villanueva,
Yes.
Candy Vives Vasquez,
Yes. And Giselle said, yes. I don't know if you saw the chat.
I did. I was going to
Okay.
say that at the end. Thank you,
Okay, I'm
Val.
sorry. All right.
No worries. Michelle Wilshire Clement, me, yes. Jordan Wright. Jordan Wright. Okay. And Jason Wu. I'm going back to Giselle and putting yes, since she put that in the chat. And I'm
Yeah.
going back to,
Giselle, could you just say that on the record, please?
yes.
She's having trouble with her phone or her stuff. That's what she wrote.
Thank you. All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, looks like the motion carries. Thank you. Keeping us moving on, going back one slide over, please. The number 5, Cinco de Mayo Fiesta number 690528. We've heard a significant amount of testimony during the publicly registered session. Business owners on that block that are not approving of it. And I'd like to hear some discussion from our members. And Dem, do you feel up to conveying whether or not any of them attended your licenses and permits?
Yeah, no, nobody from the public commented on this application. So anything that was said tonight, at least in terms of our meeting this month, this would be the first time any of us were hearing it in this capacity.
All right, thank you. Eugene?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. If a business is on the block and they're gonna do a festival in front of their business, I don't think they should be charged anything. As a matter of fact, I think the people that run this festival should be paying the businesses for using the space in front of their stores.
Thank you, Gene. Asher?
My thing is when I have seen, sorry for the background noise. My thing is when I have gone passed by this festival. I used to go to church on that block. It's chaotic, like people have said. There's no order sometimes, and it just feels. I don't think the businesses, like Eugene said, should be charged.
Okay, thank you. Let me go next. Stephanie Arroyo, then Candy, then Jose.
So from my understanding, when you do a block event, if there's going to be selling of some food, there has to be an insurance that needs to be covered. That's usually why there's a charge, from my understanding. And then my question to the committee would be, when these events are being done, there has to be a sheet that they fill out, getting the signatures of a certain amount of people who live on the block and businesses on the block. I'm wondering if those are reviewed, and if any of the businesses have signed for this event are on that list.
Dem, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, so the committee took the position that as long as the mayor keeps extending this executive order, that we can't even meet in person, that we don't think that it would be appropriate for people to have been going around collecting signatures. That was really a precaution put in because of COVID-19, but we agreed that if the mayor and the city of New York feels that certain precautions are to be left in place, we'd follow their lead on that. In terms of letters of support, they do need letters of support from organizations or businesses. I believe the current requirement is only one letter of support. As far as I know, this applicant did meet that requirement.
Was a letter of support from a business owner of that same street?
I mean, I'd have to look. I don't have it in front of you right now. I can look at it while we're talking, and but this is all public information. I think we all have access to this air table, but I will look into it and see, and I'll get back to you guys in a couple of minutes.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
folks, this is Angel. I can assist on that. I just looked it up. So the one letter that was provided is from a restaurant on the block, Nocciola. It's an Italian restaurant on the block.
Thanks, Angel.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Candy. And then
Well, my question was the same as Stephanie, so thanks, Stephanie, for bringing it up, because usually normally we fill out a petition and everyone in that neighborhood had to sign off, especially the businesses. So, just hearing all the complaints, I don't know if that was vetted. So that was just my question, but thanks for bringing it up, Stephanie.
thank you, Candy. Jose.
So I'm on that block. Usually the festival is on the street, right? And most of the people selling food and other things are actually on the street itself. And that's where and people get charged for be there. And I feel that that's pretty normal. I'm not sure if this is what's happening, but what I see is that sometimes people that have businesses there, they put up a table right in front of their business on the sidewalk. All right, so I think there is a difference between putting a table on the sidewalk right in front of your business, which is kind of the area that you're responsible for anyway. I mean, I got a ticket today for not cleaning the front, apparently, and for one little cup that was there. And so I think there has to be differentiate the difference. I do think that this person has to work with the community here. There has to be a difference between people that are actually part of the festival in the street itself and on, having a table directly in front of their business. But there should be some kind of discount for businesses that are currently there. And I also haven't seen anyone asking, but again, with COVID, that does get tricky. I agree with it, though.
Okay. Thank you, Jose. So from what I'm hearing from this conversation is that perhaps we should put a proviso into and whether or not we are going to approve or some requirements that they not set tables on the sidewalks, that they offer a deeper discount than what they've extended. which is within our purview. Is that what I'm hearing correctly, to tack on as a friendly amendment to this approval, that we put down certain requirements? Because the alternative then is to send this, because again, the April 24th is our full board. We would not have enough runway to approve right before the event. So we're either handling this now, or the other option is we could deal with the executive next week, but my preference would be able to handle it right now, tonight's business. Jessica, your question.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge the point of testimony that we heard that was in regard to the condition of the street and responsibility for cleanup after the fair. The question then is, this permit activity, and I think we've had the question, and I'm not sure, I still need some clarity. This is something that happens every year. And if business as usual for this permit application is unsatisfactory for how, and I don't know if there are criteria that have to be met, but that would be a reason to push back against saying yes and requiring these stipulations. So
Carlos, would you? Thanks.
My question, again, if we can clarify, this is not a new permit application, and what are the requirements as far as staying in good standing with SAPO? I believe it's a SAPO permit with SAPO with regard to the responsibility for aftercare and inclusivity in with locality. That shouldn't be an issue that only comes up here. I think there are fundamentals there that
So
while we want to
Jessica,
solve, we don't have to, right?
yeah, so Jessica, answer, Adem and Angel can even chime in real quick that they have to meet certain provisions such as cleaning up, such as, and Adem, do you want to chime in on this, or Angel?
And what happens if they don't, I guess is the question.
So Angel, Adem?
I mean, we actually, I think it was Carlos who brought it up at our meeting, and Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong, but he asked them about their cleaning, and I believe they said that they worked with sanitation, and that they also were going to directly have like their own garbage just to make sure that they're keeping everything clean. In terms of what we can require, I mean, there are limitations to what we can require and what we can enforce as a committee. I mean, if somebody had a problem, as far as I know, with garbage, they would have to file a complaint with the sanitation department, and then they would be able to actually enforce that. I don't really think there's much we can actually enforce. We did ask them and raise the concern of garbage at our meeting, and they assured us that they had mechanisms in place to address that.
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Eugene, and then Stephanie, and then we'll move.
Thank you, Chairman Santiago. That I still have a problem. These people should be made to address the concerns of the business people who are our neighbors and who we represent on the community board, versus these folks who I think they said are not from the community. They should be made to address those complaints from their neighbors. I don't know what kind of motion to make, but until this guy sits down with the folks in the community, I don't think we should approve this.
Okay. Thank you, Stephanie.
I just want to know, have we ever had any sort of complaints from this group previously in the years that they've done this?
Adem, Angel, would you be able to refresh our memory?
I don't think so, Chair.
Yes.
Judith, what was that?
Yeah, about the garbage, yes. And I was very unaware that businesses were getting charged. I don't think
that wasn't shared with us as far as I know.
Yeah, I know. I don't
Please
think
raise your hands. Go on, Judith. You have the
I
floor.
said, this is the first time I've heard that businesses are getting charged. I don't think that's fair. These are businesses in our community. Why should they get charged? Because someone decides to have a festival.
Okay. All right, thank you. Asher?
What I'm thinking is I can't remember exactly who mentioned it before, you said that we should be able to, if we choose to approve it, we could put requirements in place. And I'm thinking maybe that's the best option right now instead of going in circles. That's just my opinion. Because I feel like we're going in circles talking about the same exact things. So I think that's one way that we could all negotiate with the requirements, because we don't have time to wait until next month on this.
We do not. Thank you, Asher. And what we can do, I'll go to Marissa Mack, and then I think we need to take a bite at the apple on this. I would be willing to sit down with the applicant and the business owners like we did previously with another business matter before the board. We could do it next week at some point. But again, if we're going to take a position, if we're going to apply conditions, we should either do so tonight, or again, we could send it back to executive for next week. But Marissa.
Oh, sorry. No, I did just want to note, am I muted? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I just wanted to note, one, we don't have anyone here this evening representing the festival, do we?
No, we do not.
Okay. I'm of the notion as well that I don't think we should pay, or we should ask people, businesses that are already struggling to pay and to come out of pocket for something that is not well run, to the information that we've provided. Again, we haven't heard the other side of it. I do not know the specifics of the other side. But if we have the businesses that are actually there speaking up and making note about how they're feeling about this event, it is hard to weigh in because we're not hearing both sides, but I do kind of side more with the businesses that are already there, right? This is somebody else coming in to establish an event. These businesses are staple, and they're already on the corridor. So, I'm not sure what your decision is in terms of, how we're going to vote this evening. Only hearing one side, it's tricky, but I do feel like if the businesses are not exactly happy with this festival and they're a permanent fixture that's paying rent, in the community, then we kind of need to hone in on what they're saying a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you, Marissa. Then in that case, and hearing everyone's comments, I would entertain a motion to lay on the table indefinitely and send back to executive committee, which will meet next week, invite the applicant and invite the business owners that are on that block. And I think that would allow us to find a tenable solution to bring everyone together. Jewel, you had your hand raised, and then I'll go to Eugene.
A motion to do what you just said.
So you were going to enter a motion to indefinitely lay on the table for business this session and
Correct.
to send to executive committee next week.
Correct.
Okay, Eugene, you have your hand raised.
Second the motion.
Okay, please call the roll.
Jose Altamirano,
Yes.
Stephanie Arroyo,
Yes.
okay. April Autry,
Yes.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Diane Collier.
Yes.
Hi, Diane. Devon Cronchow,
Yes.
Kenneth Crouch,
Yes.
Angela Donadell,
Yes.
Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Judith Febrero,
Yes.
Raja Flores, Brandon Gillespie,
Yes.
David Giordano,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Wanda Hopkins, I'll come back to you, Jewel Jones,
Yes.
Marissa Mack,
Yes.
Giselle Malave. I'm looking to the
She
chat.
said yes. Yeah.
Okay,
In the chat. Yeah.
that's what. Malik McCullough. Malik. Come back, Jennifer Mayer.
Yes.
Okay. Jessica Morris.
Yes.
Nilsa Orama.
Yes.
Beverly Pabon.
Yes.
Arturo Perez.
Yes.
Asha Rodriguez.
Yes.
Eugene Rodriguez.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. Xavier Santiago.
Yes.
Isaac Scott.
Yes.
Russell Schuler.
Yes.
Jason Villanueva.
Yes.
Candy Viva Vasquez. Candy
Vives Vasquez, yes.
Vives. Michelle Wilshire Clements. Yes.
Malik, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, Malik. Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anne Marie
name-
Vasquez. Yes.
My name was not called Carlos Diaz.
My name was not called Bridget
Yes.
Melvin. And Anne Marie
Bridget, this
Vasquez.
is, hold on, guys, you need to raise your hand. Carlos, I know you have difficulties. Anne-Marie, or Carlos, what was your vote?
I'm voting yes, sir.
Okay, Anne-Marie, your vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Rasa,
Wanda.
this is, go on, Wanda Hopkins.
Yes, I voted yes. Okay, Wanda, thank you. I was going to come back to you.
Yeah, sorry, Michelle. I had a member of the public chime in, so I just wanted to button that up and help you out there. Aressa, this is the business session, as I explained in the beginning. This is where board members participate and vote and opine on the issues. If that was not more clear, I'm expressly stating that that is what we are engaged in now. So thank you very much for your understanding.
I didn't say anything. You said Oressa, but I didn't say anything.
Oh, well, someone did and you were unmuted. So, but if you could please mute, I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, moving on. So environment, open space and parks, Jessica Elliott.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, everyone. Good evening. We do not have any action items today, but just our meeting minutes are for informational purposes. One quick update from the meeting, two quick updates. We did have a presentation from New York City Parks and Recreation and ADC on the Pier 107 update. This was a presentation on their community outreach for the Pier 107 project, following up on their presentations in our committee in January. They held public surveys and 5 community meetings to gather input. And the biggest question was where to site the reconstructed 107th Street Pier. The feedback was mixed across the board, and they did pay close attention to the feedback coming specifically from our neighborhood. And the decision was to reconstruct the pier in its current location. And they will continue to involve the community and Manhattan Community Ward 11 moving forward in the design process. So we're happy to hear about that development. We also had a great session planning for the upcoming Earth Day conference, the second annual Earth Day conference on Friday, April 21st. And if any board members are interested in participating in the working group for this, please let me know. Our first meeting is tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. I am not seeing any hands. Good, very good. Thank you very much, Jess. Appreciate it. And to answer the question, Michelle Bridget Melvin is not part of CB11. She's a member of the public. Thank you. Moving on, we have Housing Committee, John Green.
Thank you, Xavier. Good evening, everybody. This month's meeting was basically a informational update from a member of Diana Ayala's office about PACT and RAD and what developments have been had been chosen to undergo renovations under that program. NYCHA was invited, but they could not get anyone at the last minute. But NYCHA will be at the April meeting. So that's basically it for our for housing for March.
Okay, thank you, John. It was great seeing you at the executive committee. And yeah, so moving on to land use, landmarks and planning. Jason
Good evening,
Villanueva.
everyone. Jason Villanueva. We have one action item tonight, and I'll read it out loud. Jessica Elliott made a motion that Community Board 11 recommended approval of land use applications as shown on our screen for 180th East 125th Street, fresh to certification with the conditions that the applicant, one, ensure that the future operator commits to the consistent availability of fresh foods at an affordable price given the context of Community District 11. Two, advise Manhattan Community Board 11 of any developments with the site impacted by the future work of the MTA Second Avenue Subway project. And three, revisits our land use, landmarks, and planning committee with updates to the as of right project. I know it's a hot topic for our district. No later than June 2023 with updated affordability and AMI metrics with the understanding that affordable housing, especially at the deepest levels, is the top priority of Manhattan Community Board 11. The motion was seconded by Nosa Rama and passed unanimously. Chair was seeking a support from the board for the committee's recommendation.
I'm stepping in for Xavier. Are there any questions on this motion before we take a motion? Please raise your hand. Anne Marie, and then Jessica.
Yeah, what avenue is this? I see 180 East 125th. What are the avenues?
That's Lexington Avenue, Emery.
125th on Lexington?
That's the site of the former Pathmark.
The side of the, okay.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Jessica?
Thank you. I just want to, I think when we voted on this in our meeting, I believe the conditions, I'm not sure the third condition was made so explicit. I think, and this is just my opinion, though I support the motion and the position generally, understanding where deep affordability can be achieved and where it is a stretch that may be difficult, impossible for an as of right project to meet. It is worth considering what we ask for where with regard to getting as much affordability in middle and low income bands and extremely low income bands as possible. So I just want to acknowledge that this, I'm not sure that this clarity or the explicit third condition was stated on the record when we voted. But
I can answer that question, Jessica. I made the motion in this committee and I have the, these words written in my notebook. This was exactly, maybe not word for word, but this is, what was stated at the land use and landmarks and planning meeting. And then, I think, Jason, you should respond about the as of right project, but, we can make conditions like this, but and ask that they come back, but yeah, it is an as of right development.
So just to clarify my point of comment and question, I appreciate the clarification, Jess, that yes, this was what was stated and voted upon. I again state the caveat that asking for the deepest level of affordability and as of right projects may be proverbially shooting ourselves in the foot.
And it's not asking for the deepest levels. I think it's just asking for, it is asking just for updated affordability and AMI metrics. And we just wanted to include that our top priority is the lowest levels of affordable housing. So that's just adding color to that comment, that request.
Yeah. Thank you, Jess, for the question. Thank you, Jess, for tagging in for me. Appreciate it. Anne Marie Vasquez and then Candy.
Yes, yes, you mentioned this is on 125th Street and Lexington with the old pass mark. Is this what they're developing? I'm a little confused. There's nothing there right now. Is this what's gonna happen? Affordable housing, and is this like a supermarket or something? I don't understand. I'm reading here. Can
Jason?
somebody?
I can answer this one.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Emery. So
Hi.
it's as you know, it's a very large vacant site currently.
Yes.
There's been a couple of there's been a couple of items in the last couple of months relative to this site. As you might recall, last month or the month before, the board voted on and took a position on an application for a transit easement
Yes.
by the MTA. So that's the Lexington Avenue face of that block, right?
Mhm.
The remainder of the block that is, that is owned by the developer is going to be constructed as an as-of-right building. I think it's like a 14-story building. It'll be a residential development with commercial on the ground floor. And in that commercial, and within the commercial space of that building, they intend to have a fresh grocer. And the fresh application that's before you this evening is the subject of that space. Does that help?
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Very
it.
welcome.
Andy?
Hello?
Sorry, Candy.
No, I was just ready to second the motion, but I guess there's still more question on the table, so.
We haven't had
We never got a first.
Oh, okay. So
All
then
right, so hold on.
I guess I hold off.
Yeah, let me just a second. Beverly, your question, then Angela, and then we'll move the agenda along. Thank you. Bev?
Yes, thank you, Chair. From what I'm understanding that the 180 East 125th Street is more from the middle of the block to 3rd Avenue and not the Lexington Avenue portion of the block. Because it's actually two lots. Lot 20 is where the MTA, I believe, is trying to get domain ownership to that, to do the 2nd Avenue Station portion of that lot. And to the back of it, lot 27 is where he has a as of right project that he's asking to have a fresh food and a fresh food store. And with this fresh food store, we approve it at this tonight, where he would get an additional 15th floor. My question is, within the additional 15th floor, he's getting at least 10 more apartments. And would those 10 more apartments be part of the acts that Jessica was asking regarding the deepest level of affordability? We're asking for that within that portion of it, because like you said, this is as a right, and he can, make the metrics as of what type of affordability he has in the building, as a right.
Yeah, go on your question then.
Yeah, so my question is, with us, if we say yes to the fresh food, are we still asking for this deep affordability and the additional square footage that he getting, and the 10, I guess, extra apartments that he gets for that, for that?
That is correct.
That's my question. Okay, thank you.
All right, Angela.
I was trying to understand what this means as a right, and I really trust what the things that Jessica says, and I don't understand why you don't want them to put in there affordable housing, especially at the deepest levels. What is your reason? Because that should be our priority in this community.
If I may respond, Xavier?
I'd like to actually,
It's with a friendly amendment suggestion.
so we haven't taken a motion on the floor.
Okay.
I'd like Jason Villanueva to speak to that, and Jessica Elliott, who made the motion at the committee level.
Okay.
All right, and I'm gonna move the agenda along here, because again, we have to understand that as a right means exactly that. No matter what we say, they have a right to do things. Now, again, this is why it's written in the language it is. So Jason and Jessica Elliott.
I'm sorry, Chad, I didn't understand the question.
I just want to understand, I felt like Jessica was saying that we shouldn't add the part about especially at the deepest level. I understand the principle of as of right. I can read, okay? So I just want to understand why we wouldn't want to put that in there, or did she have a reason why she felt we'd be better off? Because is it because we'll get the other things and they may not even want to look at that, or that this could just kibosh the whole thing? I just wanted to understand why.
Well, what is presented in front of you, because of there was a major concerns from the committee of grappling with providing an approval on this particular application, that we understand that the developer also has the lot adjoining to this, and we're familiar that they plan on building housing. So I guess the committee came to a position of approving the project with adding this as a condition. So then that way we can continue to further dialogue to develop that conversation, not only with Extel, but also for the administrative public agencies that are going to be providing those funds towards these affordable housing units. So we want to be able to engage on the public end with our electeds and administrative agencies, as well as be able to engage and continue the conversation with the developer. And that was the intention of putting this item, with it being understood that it is an as of right project.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jessica, is there anything you would like to add to that? Because I'd like to move the meeting along.
No, I think Angela's question was pertaining to what Jessica Morris said, not the motion, just for clarity.
Okay. Thank you very much. Candy, you had your hand raised. You wanted to make a motion, correct? Is that still the case, Candy? Yes?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, so I wanted to make the motion, but it's like with the friendly amendment that it'll show affordable, the low income affordability as including affordable, low income affordable housing with AMI metrics, and I understand that it's an as of right, but I think my colleagues, some don't feel confident enough to have the word affordable is too loosely, and so for it to be loose, it could just, affordable is who could afford. So if we could just add as a friendly amendment, if it's okay with Jessica, to just add, including deep affordable housing.
Okay, so Jessica, if you would like to speak on that, because as it reads to me, it says with updated affordability and AMI metrics, with the understanding that affordable housing, especially at the deepest levels, is the top priority of Manhattan Community Board 11. It seems very plainly stated, but please, Jessica.
Yeah, to have them included.
So as Jason mentioned, this is an as of right project, so we will not be able to, weigh in it again, unless we are asking, which we are in this motion under the third condition, to ask them to revisit the land use, landmarks and planning committee, so that we may get their updated numbers on the affordability and AMI metrics, and we can have those conversations at that later time. But we are only asking that they come back to the meeting to discuss that with us, and that we are providing additional color to that, and that it is our community board's top priority for affordable housing. So we're not, it's just asking them to come back to land use before June, so that we can have that discussion.
Okay, because I do understand about, the as of right. So, can we add something to it? Because if not, I like to motion to approve of it, but I just like to see some language there like that. So just so they can know that everyone would like to feel comfortable with that piece, even though we know about the as of right, but then let them search for some fundings from the state and the city, so like that could subsidize the affordability side for the deeper level.
Yeah, so Candy, I think it's asking as much as we can right now. This is stipulated right there, especially it's asking them to come back, asking for the deepest level of affordability. And the committee took a position on it So I would defer to the committee on whether or not they want to accept a friendly amendment, and we can move forward.
So I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I've not recognized you, Jessica. I'm going to go to
Yep.
Eugene, who's not spoken on the matter. Thank you very much. Eugene,
I just wanted to second the motion.
well, we haven't had the first motion.
I thought that's
Motioning
what-
to accept, but
We
I was
had,
hoping-
so we would have to have the original, we have an item before the floor. And the people that brought it before the floor, which is land use, landmarks and planning, would have to accept that friendly amendment as you were to present it, because otherwise we would have to recraft. And that's something Jessica and Jason, I want to get clarity. Is that something you're willing to accept? Jason or Jess?
I mean, we're talking about an adjective or a noun here, right? To add a word or two. So I'm, you know, I waive it to you, Chair. This is
Jessica?
full ball. This is full ball. We discussed this thoroughly for over the last 2 months and came to this position as a committee collectively. So I stand behind my committee and the position that made, and the individuals that are making comments are also the committee members. So
Okay, thank you for that. Jessica?
I mean, it's unclear to me what is asking to be added to this motion, and I think the motion stands fine the way that it is.
Okay, I'll go to Nelson, then I'll go to Jessica for one final bit, and I need to move this meeting along. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was just gonna ask for clarity myself because I'm a little confused. We're mentioning in the motion about the levels of affordability for as of right projects. We can ask anything we want to, but the developer has the as of right ability to build what he wants there. The community may like it or may not like it. And so that's why we included as low as at the deepest levels of affordability. So that seems redundant for us to change the language to add again, like a lowest AMI in that, because the deepest levels of affordability, this developer is quite aware of what that is. And so the idea, as was mentioned, was to bring him to the table. But the honest truth is, we can put as much language there as we want. That does not mean that he's going to do what the community board asked. But there is the ask is in there. So I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. Thank you.
thank you, Nelson, for that clarity.
Great.
So my motion stands as is.
I make a motion to approve. Apparently,
Right.
motion yet.
So hold on, I need to recognize Jessica, the final bit on this so I can move the meeting along. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to respond. I think there was some confusion. My name is Jessica Morris. Jessica Elliott is also named Jessica. Angela Donadell's point of comment was a question directed at Jessica, and I believe it was directed at my point of question around the specific clause that states, especially at the deepest levels. My recommendation, given the understanding that this is an as of right development, is to further qualify that by saying, especially at the levels of low income, very low income, and extremely low income, which there are 5 levels of affordability, and deepest does not necessarily include low income, which is between 51 and 80% AMI, which is something that could feasibly, from a development perspective, be included in this project, whereas extremely low and very low are highly unlikely to be included. But that middle tranche of low income is something that could be potentially accommodated in this project. So that's my suggestion.
You gave specific language to, and repeat that language, especially the deepest levels. Which was it? Low, extremely low.
So yes, the clause, especially at the deepest levels, to be replaced with especially at low income, very low income, and extremely low income bands.
So I mean, I think that sounds more like a parenthetical. Low income, extremely
low income. Low income is one tranche, 51 to 80%.
Give me the next description. I'm writing this down. Thank you, because I have to repeat it back and we have to see.
Very low income is 31 to 50%. And then extremely low income is 0 to 30%.
30%, right.
As we're asking for that, and why I think, Candy, it's a great idea to be specific, because if they can't grant low income, extremely low income, or very low income, then we'll be able to compare it against what comes back when they visit us. If we just say the deepest levels, we're not super clear about what we mean and what would meet with some degree of satisfaction of them trying to appease what we're asking for. So that's why I'm suggesting we be specific, because I think that low income tranche, which is your workforce housing, it's your teachers, it's
Yeah.
your,
So Jessica, I've got that. Let me go to John, and I want to move the meeting along. John.
Thank you, Xavier. From what I get from this is that this developer can do anything that he wants. We can ask for 60% AMI. He can say, best I can do is 80. So the thing is that I personally think this motion should be kept the way it is, because I think land use has negotiated this in such a way where they understand they can ask all they want, but the guy can, but the developer can still say no.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, John. Jose?
Actually, Chair, considering that Jason and Jessica Elliott, it seems that they feel that their motion is strong and this has been worked in their committee, I wanted to make a motion to approve their motion as it stands. I know that there are some changes that want to be made, but I think we've heard from them. They've done the work. They've been working on this for 2 months. It's a little confusing since most of the people trying to make changes are on that committee, according to what I heard from Jason. So
I'm not trying to make
but
changes.
regardless of the fact, I think that at this point, unless they're willing to accept that amendment, which I don't think they are from what I'm hearing, I'd like to make a motion to accept this as it stands.
I know Candy
Or
had
make a
brought
motion.
Candy brought the original. Let me defer. That raises the question. Jessica Elliott, Jason Villanueva. Jessica, would you be willing to accept that addendum of low income, very low income, and extremely low inserted during the especially at deepest levels clause?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, Jason?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to push this forward. Thank you, Jose, for your notes. So Candy,
Thank
are you
you.
making a motion with those addendums as
Yes.
iterated? And they especially at the deepest levels included in low income, very low income, extremely low as the top priority of Manhattan Community Board 11. Okay.
Yes, thank
Okay.
you. Thank you,
Second.
my colleagues.
I'll second.
Chair, I was gonna say, Chair, I did see a hand up during the motion.
Oh, sorry. I think that was an old hand from Jose. Eugene?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, please call the roll.
Jose Altamirano,
Yes.
Stephanie Arroyo,
Yes.
April Autry,
Yes.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Diane Collier,
Yes.
Devon Cronchow,
Yes.
Kenneth Crouch,
Yes. And particular reason why you're missing Carlos Diaz?
I'm gonna say his name right now.
Okay.
I said it last time as
You
well.
did not say it last time. That's why I corrected it at the end.
Okay, Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donadell,
Yes.
Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Judith Febrero,
Yes.
Brandon Gillespie,
Yes.
David Giordano,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Wanda Hopkins,
Yes.
Jewel Jones,
Yes.
Marissa Mack,
Yes.
Giselle Malave, I see.
She's a yes.
I saw the note. Malik McCullough? Malik? I'll come back to you. Jennifer
I'm a
Mayer?
yes. I'm a yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Malik. Jennifer Mayer?
Yes.
Thank you. Jessica Morris?
Yes, thank you.
Nilsa Orama?
Yes.
Beverly Pabon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Arturo Perez?
Yes.
Shavasia Robertson Teg? Okay, Asha Rodriguez?
Yes.
Eugene Rodriguez?
Yes.
Xavier Santiago?
Yes.
Isaac Scott?
Yes.
Russell Schuler?
Yes.
Anne-Marie Vasquez?
Yes.
Jason Villanueva?
Yes.
Candy
Vincent
Rivas
Torres,
Vasquez?
yes. Sorry, you skipped me. Torres. Vincent Torres.
Oh, Vincent Torres, you're here. Okay.
Presente. A little late. Sorry, guys, but yes.
Okay. Candy Rivas Vasquez?
Yes.
Michelle Wilshire Clement, yes. And Jordan Wright.
Yes.
Beautiful.
The motion carries. Thank you very much, Jason. I'm going to get us moving along. It's
I'm
eight-
sorry, Chair. I
Yes.
know that killed the clock, but if you don't mind, I would like for Beverly Pabon to express to the board about the event that we're coordinating with housing to ensure that we look at redesigning the red line. And we have a few events, dates set up over the next week for board members, if that's okay with you, Chair.
Yeah, if we can quickly go through them. And that should be under announcements, any announcements for events. Okay.
Excellent. So Beverly, if you, or Jessica, if you can express that to the board publicly, I'd appreciate it. Everyone have a great evening and thank you for your work in getting through that matter for us.
Thank you. We'll take up the red line and everything during announcements. I'm going to move us on to, it is now 8:55. Going to try to get us out at a decent hour. Public Safety and Transportation, Jose Altamirano.
Thank you,
Jose.
Chair. We had a few presentations that I'll speak about briefly. We do not have any position on any of these as of yet, as is typical in our committee. We hear the presentation and then we vote on it on the following month to let everyone have a time to digest and the public speak and everyone else be a part of this process. We had the 5G cell tower, which we've heard about quite a lot tonight. Obviously, there is a lot of controversy in this topic. We will be voting on it this coming month. And we welcome any input from committee members, public, anyone else. We have had and have been receiving quite a lot of input. We also had a proposed intercity bus stop with the top view sightseeing. These are the double-decker buses that for tourists that we see here in the city. What they call their blue line wants to have a stop on in front of El Museo on 1220 Fifth Avenue. Both El Museo and the other museum have also given letter of support for this stop. We had previously denied it because the bus operator had not come before us, but we will be taking a position. This, just so that everyone knows and is clear, this bus route already passes through there. So this is not adding buses. It's currently already passing through there. It starts in Times Square, goes to Port Authority. It stops at the Dakota Building, 72nd and West, Central Park West, and it goes to the Museum of Natural History. It takes a loop. It has no stop in the Upper West Side. Then it basically follows Central Park. Then as it comes down Fifth Avenue, this stop would be in front of El Museo and the Museum of the City of New York. After that, it goes down to the Guggenheim and Central Park Zoo and other places. So we will be also looking at that following month. We also had a great presentation from graphics with the youth gun violence. I'm actually going to ask my Vice Chair Michelle to speak in regard to this because I was not there. I had to get on a flight at the time. Michelle, can you speak a little bit in regards to this presentation?
Yes, I can. The person who came to present to us was Dr. Kai Smith for graphics, and he has lived in East Harlem all of his life, and he had a very colorful life of what he has done and brought into the neighborhood, which a lot of it was not positive. And so he wants to bring back something to the neighborhood that he had taken out, as in doing as much harm as he could. And so he wants to do as much good as he could at this time with youth that are at risk. He is asking for a letter of support from the community that he lived in and did harm. He is looking for space in the community for these after school programs that he wants to bring in. And he is also looking to find some sort of way to feel that because he's coming back, because he's trying to do well, he wants to really have a letter of support from East Harlem because that is his home and that's what he's asking for.
Thank you, Michelle. I was there for that presentation and the one at Youth and Education. I'll be going on Thursday to see.
And that is everything, Chair, that we have on public safety.
Wonderful, thank you. Angela, quick question, then and then Asher.
I want to talk about just briefly the bus stop. I have a question. Is that bus going to stop in that spot for a period of time? I live right there. There are school buses all up and down that avenue, and the hospital is a stone's throw away. The traffic is already backed up on Fifth Avenue where they want to stop to add more people. And I understand why it's important to the community because it would bring foot traffic to both museums. And I'm quite sure they would be happy to have it, but have you spoken to the people that live there and the people in the nursing home? That's right there.
Yeah.
Could I answer? So
Yeah,
according to the presentation, Angela, they won't be stopping idling. It would be I think what they said is a 30-second stop. People would get out and it would be quickly. I also going to point out that they're already using this route. So it's not like we're adding this bus line there. They're currently going down Fifth Avenue as it is.
Yes,
but from their presentation, the drop off and pickup will be done very, very quickly. They said that their stop is very fast.
No, as long as they're not going to stop.
No, exactly. They're not stopping there and waiting. None of that. It's a quick stop and they're moving along.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Asher?
I'll wait till we get to youth and education because it was a comment about the graphics and there was something said during the youth and education.
Okay, thank you. Jessica Morris, your question? You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Thank you, sorry. With regard to the 5G, I know I can't attend anyway. I did some reconnaissance. There are some site photos. I put them all in a document available to board members should you wish to look at it. It's helpful to understand what these places are and what they mean to our district as we start to better understand the health impacts of, the concerns that are being brought to us. To understand those abstract things in place is something that helped me feel better about these things landing nearby. So I invite you all, if you'd like to look at pictures, you can also visit on Google, but they're there and my points of view are expressed and they're not meant to influence you, but meant to be a resource so that you don't have to go there as we ultimately take a position on this as the board. And
thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
I was
welcome.
gonna say thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome, Jose. Reach out if you have any questions. Please, but it's straightforward. With regard to Fifth Avenue, it's a congestion nightmare, and the bus stop isn't the issue. I think there's a conversation to be had with DOT coming from public safety and transportation about that corridor in our district as a kind of a health impacts frame of things. So it's not my place. I'm not a member of the committee, but it's an opportunity to take up the issue with DOT coming from a place of concern where the bus stop is a conversation starter here for other points of concern. So I would urge the committee to take that up as an opportunity to start to engage institutional partners along Museum Mile and especially Mount Sinai, where if you've ever been to Central Park between the hours of 3 and 5 p.m., the sirens that happen adversely affect the positive health impacts you would get from exercising or walking in the park because of that sound. So it's an opportunity as much as it's a challenge. Thank you.
Great. And I welcome, because we are still virtual. A lot of this work is done at committee. We're really not to be giving like a full chair report at the committee, but a condensed version. So I'm going to remind everyone with your questions, because we are virtual, and to be respectful and consideration of time, that bring your questions to committee. You sent the doc. Thank you very much, Jess. Everyone open it up, and then we can share and review that and discuss it more holistically at public safety and transportation. Thank you, Jose. If that can conclude your report. Next up, we have Human Services. Isaac.
Good evening, everybody. If it's okay with you, Chair, we can get the motion out of the way first, and then I just wanted to say for just 1 minute, just a recap on the presentation that was given, and to invite people to join us as we continue the conversation in the rearticulation of our moratorium, our city moratorium. So regarding the motion, that's the action item that we do have on the table, Odyssey House they came before us, reached out to us because they would like to expand their license to offer methadone to their patients in-house so that folks don't have to travel the streets. They were previously receiving it at Mount Sinai. And they would like to keep that service in-house. This will take about 12 months for it to actually happen. Oasis did instruct them to come before us and let us know what they were doing. They did that. They invited me to Odyssey House. I did visit, and I was met by the Director of Communications, Isabella, the Senior Director of Residential Services, the Department Director, I think the Deputy Director of Administration of Office of Admissions. So a few people met with me. I was able to, express and share with them the community concerns, but they have been dealing with CB11 for a while, so they understand. So this move was a lot in regards to a lot of the concerns they hear from Community Board 11, but also with their knowledge of what it takes for folks to have a successful recovery. They understand that travel time it's vulnerable. It's a vulnerable time period for people to have to leave the treatment center to then go, pass through people to, go to Mount Sinai to get their services and then come back to the residential treatment center. So this is, we passed the letter of acknowledgement for them. This we actually did in February. It was tabled in February. We were encouraged to, not so much, we were encouraged to take a position to or fro on Odyssey House, but we decided that because they weren't asking for a letter of support, that we didn't just want to jump out and give them a letter of support. If they were just asking for a letter of acknowledgement that they came before us to let us know, they did that. They also filled out our organizational assessment form, which again asks very pertinent questions and gives us the information and the data that we need from them. So they did comply with that. We decided that we will, wait to see, how it goes when they actually, they'll stay a community partner, but we'll see how it actually goes when they execute these services in-house. And when they come back and give us a report, and a good report of that, then we can go ahead and lend a letter of support as a community board. So we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves. So the letter of acknowledgement, they did come before us. So we can acknowledge that they did do that. They did share, and they were very transparent about that. The motion was, it was a motion by Osindi, and I think it was seconded by Robin, and it passed unanimously, if I'm not mistaken. So with that, I don't know if there's any other questions about Odyssey House before.
Yep, hold on. Isaac, just give me a moment. I have Jason and then Beverly. Jason, you had a question or you?
I have no question, Chair. I'm ready to make a motion.
Beverly, you had a question?
Yes, my question is, thank you for your presentation. Regarding them, they will just be giving methadone as a treatment. And if they do that in-house, would other patients from other places be able to come there and be treated there also?
Great question. That service is only for their people. So if I'm not mistaken, and Xavier, you were on too. So if I get the numbers wrong, let me know. But it's about 100, 150 so people who do travel out to Mount Sinai to get services. That would just be for them. They're not it's not for anyone to travel in who's not already a part of a resident in that facility. So no.
Yeah.
No one else.
So
no one else would be coming in. Yes, it's only for those folks who already are receiving it in their program.
And that's the only drug that they'd be using? I mean, that they asking to do?
I'm sorry. Yes, that was the other part of your question. My apologies. With respects to that their expansion of their license was only to provide that treatment. They provide their normal treatments for what they do. I'm not sure what other drugs they administer on site. Maybe someone else can answer that a little better. But with respect to this particular request, they are just offering a service they weren't offering before, this opioid treatment. And that's what this is specifically for. So I can't really speak to what other treatments they have already been given folks, but I can, they did speak to me and express a lot of their, traditional approaches. And then they spoke also to some non-traditional approaches that they were taking to rehabilitation. So that, I don't know how much that helps to the question that you're asking.
That was a great explanation. Thank you, Isaac. To add some context to it, and we shared this at executive at the 25th precinct, Odyssey House employees were there really asking for help because there are people who are preying on them, unfortunately, and they confirmed what was stated in the meeting, and they're asking for the police to be able to do their part so that they, as other partners, we can all lean in solving this problem, which is entirely complex. So I appreciate that explanation. Just to keep things moving, Candy, do you have a question?
No, I just want to say a comment regarding Odyssey House has been in the community for a very long time. And I got to say that they have been good neighbors. They have been very open and transparent over the years when they started coming into the community. And they have given us the opportunity to go to the MICA, even before they started up at 121st Street and took up the whole block and cleaned it out. And I looked at a whole, if you would have seen back then to where it is now, I got to say, I call it Odyssey Lane because they really fixed up the street, and they also employ within, and that's empowering the people so like that they can start their life anew, and they really are life changers. So I'm just, I'm just speaking on behalf of over the years being and serving on the board, how I've seen Odyssey House, whenever everything they're going to come out with anything, that if it's one thing, they do consult with the community board. And I really appreciate that from them compared to other groups, so I'm in support of Odyssey House, and I just want to voice that out.
Well, one question from Diane, and then I'm going to entertain a motion from Jason that he wanted to make. So we can
So
keep
Jason, Xavier, did by any chance a conversation come up about the Odyssey House that is on 126th Street?
I do not recall.
Okay, because for those of us who's probably been around too long, Odyssey House had come before the board to build a new facility on East 126th Street. For those who remember Wendy Hewitt, she was part of working with them to make that happen. I see you shaking your head, Candy, so I think I jarred your memory with that. And the only reason why I bring that up, Xavier, because one, we've never gotten a status on that particular facility that they were building. It raises concern on my part that this is another residential facility. Are they looking to do this whenever they complete the building of the 126th Street? So I'm just bringing that to the attention of the board, as well as if no conversation came up, because probably no one on the committee really was aware of it.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, Jason? Jason?
Good evening. Yes, I'd like to make a motion to support the committee's recommendation.
Is there a second? Please raise your hand. John Green?
I second.
Please call the roll.
Jose Altamirano,
Yes.
Stephanie Arroyo,
Yes.
April Autry,
Yes.
Adem Briha,
Yes.
Diane Collier,
I'm abstaining because of the question that I posed before the board.
okay. Diane Cronchow,
Yes.
I mean Devon Cronchow, I apologize for mispronouncing it. Kenneth Crouch,
Yes.
Carlos Diaz,
Yes.
Angela Donadell,
Yes.
Jessica Elliott,
Yes.
Judith Febrero,
Abstain.
Brandon Gillespie,
Yes.
David Giordano,
Yes.
John Green,
Aye.
Wanda Hopkins.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Wanda, what did you say? Okay. Jewel Jones,
Yes.
Marissa Mack,
Yes.
Giselle Malave.
Yes.
I see. Oh, you got to work. Okay. Malik McCullough. Malik. Jennifer Mayer,
Yes.
Jessica Morris,
Yes.
Nilsa Orama,
Yes.
Beverly Pabon,
No.
Arturo Perez,
Yes.
Javas, Asha Rodriguez,
Yes.
Eugene Rodriguez,
Abstain.
Xavier Santiago,
Yes.
Isaac Scott,
Yes.
Russell Schuler,
Yes.
Vincent Torres, Vincent,
Yes.
Amaria Vasquez.
Yeah.
Jason Villanueva,
Yes.
Candy Vives Vasquez,
Yes.
Michelle Wilcher Clement, yes. Jordan Wright.
Yes.
I'm circling back to Malik McCullough. Malik? Okay. That's the end of the roll call.
Thank you. The motion carries. Okay, Isaac, you just want
Thank
to
you.
give.
Yeah, just
Brief.
1 minute. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
everybody. Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry about that.
Yeah, we got you. We got you. Go on.
Copy. So thank you, everybody, for taking the time, your patience. Thank you for the support. I would definitely encourage everyone, you know, this is all important to each and every one of us, but specifically folks who were not particularly comfortable with voting in a certain way. I think that, you know, you should join us for our conversations at the Human Services Committee. At our last committee meeting, I gave a very deep presentation on stigma and, you know, fighting addiction while fighting stigma. You know, it's our responsibility as a community board to represent community, Community Board 11, right, and East Harlem members and residents here. And, you know, there's a lot of a sense of belonging and who belongs in East Harlem and who doesn't. And that sort of attitude is perpetuating a stigma towards people who are fighting drug addiction and substance abuse. And it's, you know, scientifically counterproductive to the support that they need in order